This vessel is now entering Strangford Lough. Pilot boat is just ahead of it there. It's one of the regular, its name is Ocean Diamond, and it would do a few regular trips in to Strangford Lough in the summer months with visitors from around Europe. An old promotion document, and it's telling me about the lighthouse, the history of the lighthouse keepers in St John's Point, County Down, way back in 1912, right up until the present day. My name is Desmond Rogers at Shore Road, Portaferry, all my life. 77 years. A lot of changes, not so much around the shore, but in shipping, the volume of shipping. We don't have many ships, commercial ships anymore. Strangford has turned in really to a commercial. I think we have 7 yacht clubs around the lough. So in the summer months, it's very busy. We'll get yachts coming from all around Europe. We have annual regattas that are held by each yacht club over July and August, September. So they do attract a lot of visiting boats and a lot of people. That has been going on all my lifetime. We've always looked forward to regattas. That was a time of the year, and people that had gone and left Portaferry always managed to come back for regatta time. If they were coming back at all, they come back to see the regattas and meet up with all the old sailing people. At the entrance to Strangford Lough, there's always been a lighthouse there. We called it Angus Rock. The local people called it Rock and Goose. The light was put on the rock in 1983 for the first time. The lighthouse was erected. In the 17th century, there was a stump of rock, and they seemed to build stones higher and higher on it. The story goes that a revenue ship that was chasing pirates had fired a gun and missed the pirates but hit the rock. This kind of beacon that was there was knocked down. After that, the shipping merchants demanded that a proper lighthouse be built. They built this Angus Rock one anyway. After so many years, locals decided that a light must be put on because there were so many tragedies of ships going aground, people being lost, lives being lost. They had to do something, and they had written to the different boards of lighthouse authorities, and eventually Irish Lights decided to put a light on it in 1983. There was no way of getting onto the rock, so we had to build a small jetty there, a concrete jetty. The first light was set up with gas bottles on the bottom floor, and over the years they had changed it to solar panels, and today it's running with solar panels and batteries. The light can be put on and left and would last for up to 6 years. It's run by the local council here in Downpatrick. What was the point in putting a light on Angus Rock and a ship sailing in past it, and you were bringing that ship into a dark lough with no other lights in it? It was wrong in a way to invite somebody in and leave them in the dark. That's when the lighthouse was lit, all the other light beacons were lit. Beyond Angus Rock, once you go past it, you come up into the Narrows. You've got the first light you come to would be Dogtail Point, which is a starboard hand light. And then the next two would be the Gowland Rocks, Salt Rock and Gowland lights. And then we've got Strangford Harbour, which has its own lighting system, where the island's marked, and South and North Plady's marked. Watch House Tower. We've got leading lights that take the ferry straight into the berth on the slipway. Beyond, we've got various lights going up the lough, taking us into the lough. Church Point, Ballyhenry Point, on up to Killilay, Town Rock, and going north then up into the lough towards Utnards. We've got another system of lights running up there. So it's a big change that's happened for leisure boats, basically. In the old days, we used farmhouses for lights. We knew what farmhouses were lit up at night. The locals didn't really look for lights. They did their own thing. They had their own marks and things like that. And as children, we were brought up and taught that way. It's a big help to have all these. We have a lifeboat service, runs in Strangford, so all of that's a big help to that service. I don't know why it took all them years to get it established, because there was more traffic, commercial traffic in those days, going into the three major ports, Killyleagh, Strangford and Portaferry. So you had 2 ships a month, Killyleagh, which was much busier, 2-3 ships a week. In latter years, you were running container ships, 3 container ships a week, 2 to 3 coal boats a month. So it was busy. After the miners' strike, the coal thing seemed to go. During the miners' strike, they couldn't get coal locally out from the UK, so they had to go to Poland and places like that. And that meant the ships were bigger, so we couldn't get those ships into Strangford Lough at all. They went into Belfast and other big ports like Dublin. So the lorry loads came out of Belfast and went round the small ports in Strangford Lough. It finished the commercial end. There was other aspects of it as well. Most of the harbours, except for Strangford, most of the boats would have sat when the tide went out in the harbours, drying out, and had fair age on them. And I suppose the shipping companies and insurance companies didn't like them sitting with cargoes in them on the hard bottom. And then you had the waiting time for the tide to come in again and get back out again. So, the whole scheme of coasting just was lost in Northern Ireland. Most of the small ports around Northern Ireland had lost all that because the miners went on strike. The harbours, there's no harbours left, none left at all. You've got Strangford and Portaferry, which is basically for the ferry boat, the commercial ferry boat. Killyleagh hasn't closed, but they built modern housing and flats on that harbour. So really, there's nobody burning coal anymore in their houses anyway. The future is definitely tourism for the lough, yeah. It's slow, very, very seasonal. In the winter months, you don't see many boats. You don't see many yachts, cruisers or anything like that. Most of the commercial traffic has gone. We get an odd cruise ship coming in. It anchors, it goes to an anchor and it lowers its own boats.